As I ponder all your wonders, I can see that you live. Every day you see betrayal, yet you choose to forgive. Your love is strong, but not so long.
Good evening, parents, and welcome to Simply Speaking with Kristi and Mariana. And today we have a special guest, and our special guest is Brandi. So we're going to be speaking about the board meeting last night. So let's start. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Hi,
Hi, hi, hi,
everybody.
hi. I mean, where do we even start? I mean,
I don't know.
yesterday I was in Christy's church, right? And we were having this cider. It was really nice, like the whole Passover thing and the Last Supper, really nice. And about 8:30, my phone starts ringing, and I'm looking at Christy like, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm going to the bathroom. Why my phone is ringing?" And little did I know that it was because people were complaining of how Stoltz was speaking to Kelly. Now,
Right.
It
Brandy,
wasn't. It
you were
wasn't just him.
there.
Guys
Oh,
White
fill us in,
as
fill us
well.
in, fill us in. Because you were there. You got the floor. It was you. What happened?
Well, I mean, Stoltz all night just looked like he was very uncomfortable.
Constipated?
He was swiveling in his chair a
Like
lot,
this?
like his whole chair, like he kept like rocking.
What you
I was like,
mean?
"What is going on?"
Hey, maybe he had the easy rocker. Do you see on TV? Helps with back pain.
No, this was like he
I
was
know,
going
I
like
think he's
side to
acting.
side, like if I
Yeah.
turn real quick, I can get up and leave, like
Yep.
a nervous almost. And it was just really odd because he's normally not like that. And then I believe it was with Geis White when Kelly was like, "Yeah, you weren't there." It was about the meeting that he didn't attend. And she's like, "Yeah, you weren't there."
Correct.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
No, in last week's meeting, he was not there. He was not there.
right.
What I question why he wasn't there, because you know me, I go after him in a hot minute. But the reason I was given was that there was some sort of family emergency. So that's why he wasn't there. But yeah, he's quick to give opinions.
Right.
So, what is this thing? What actually happened between Stoltz and Kelly that made him act like a Fruit Loop?
It was during the portion where they were talking about the iPads, and she, like, everyone's questioning, like Brenda was questioning because she's not a fan of it either. And Kelly said that she wasn't a fan of it, and he just kind of snapped a little. Not his, as he portrays like the cool, calm, collected, he has everything under control. I think he let his true colors slip.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean the only thing he has under control is the hand that holds the taco. That's it. But talking about the iPad and this iPad lease, I actually sat down today to see that part of the meeting. Um, and I'm really not for it either. What's your opinion about this, Kristi? I'm really not for it.
I mean, like we talked about today on the phone, I realized that society that, technology is wonderful. But in this case, like we have schools that are out of control with bullying, drugs, fighting. The iPads, I can assure you, are not being used the correct way. Okay.
No.
The teachers don't have control in the classroom, but yet we are supposed to believe that they're going to control the iPads. Okay, that's one side of it. The other side is that we did with the COVID money, the $17 million, buy into a whole computer system, iPad system. It's basically an indoctrination system, okay, with these iPads. We need to get back to regular teaching. We need to get back to paper. Here we go. Paper and pen and write, guys, okay? We pay the teachers, let's just say like 70 to 80 grand. They need to teach. The other thing is with the social and emotional learning, like we've talked about, I think it's 5, don't quote me 100%, but it's 5 or more years that this will have to be implemented to see if it's actually working with our children. Okay, guys?
Yep.
So these iPads.
I can tell you it's not.
Yes, and that's the indoctrination system. Look at our test scores. The iPads and all this crap is not working, and it's costing us money, so throw it out. That's
It's
my
really,
suggestion.
the whole thing is like really frustrating because like, yeah, we had a remote learning day yesterday. Well, they took Fairview's iPads from them all week
And it
Why?
and
was
said
a
it's on
remote.
paper. So they sent home
Okay.
paper stuff. Well, just so happens Carolyn forgot her math homework. So I logged into Schoology, you know, where we're supposed to have access to the books. The
Right.
math books aren't there.
So what isn't there?
Math books aren't there.
Where were they?
Nobody knows. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Welcome to
And
the
I mean,
West
it's not
Shore.
even that. Like, you know, with Caden, he has a whole set of issues in itself. But we have discussed with his counselor, like, when he is made to stop doing things, you know, preferred activity, but it is like it used to be like extreme aggression until I said, no, you're leaving this thing at school. It does
Right.
not need to come home unless there's going to be inclement weather.
Right.
We're not
And
doing it.
even with the special needs, you know, they know that they're obsessed and they still wanted you to bring it home.
Yeah, it's an addiction.
Right.
It's like,
Oh, that's the other thing Mariana and I were talking about today. So when he was scolding Kelly with that, you know, saying, you don't know how much time they spend on these iPads. Okay, like, I guess we don't. But let's go look at what the specialists that they love to follow the specialists.
Mhm.
They say that you shouldn't even, the kids shouldn't even have over 2 hours.
right.
Correct.
So you know they're having those 2 hours of school. Then we're going to talk trash on the parents and say they need to do their job, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the kids are already gone cuckoo because they've had so much, you know, internet time. Like, the whole thing's a crock of crap. Like, as soon as Kelly was talking about like parental rights, I mean, he looked like he was crawling out of his skin.
Right.
Like, you know, that was irritating him. That, you know, us as parents are saying we don't want this crap anymore. We want regular teaching. Like, that's what we're paying for. And he
And that's
looked
all
very
right.
uncomfortable.
And I mean,
That's all right.
I wholeheartedly understand, like, we are a computer society. I understand that.
Mhm.
And what happened to computer class?
Correct. And that's what I was saying today as I was reading and seeing this. First of all, they're talking about giving a kid in kindergarten an Apple iPad. So the cheese fell off the cracker somewhere. Okay. Because when you're in kindergarten and you're in the elementary school, what you should be learning is how to read, how to write, how to, you know, use a book, read a book. Okay. All that, that's what's going to help. Okay. The children develop. Okay. Intellectually, educationally, academically, scholastically, not a computer. Okay. So giving a kindergarten an iPad, that's retarded. And I'll just say it makes no sense. Now, when we were growing up, like you stated, Brandi, we had computer class. Okay. Now I'm from the generation, okay, because I'm Generation X. I'm from the generation that we were the first ones to have computers in school. We were the first ones to have video. Oh man, I'm old. You know what I'm saying? We were the first ones to have music videos, you know? So I'm from that generation, but that continued before that. I remember middle school, we were doing typing from the typewriter,
Yeah.
you know. Okay, so that's how old I am. So anyway, that being stated, what happened with computer classes and computer courses? And to say that nobody knows how many hours in school these kids are on this technology, that's BS. Because I can tell you that my boys, okay, in every class, they're using the computer. Okay.
Yeah.
Rarely do they get something done on paper. Rarely. Okay. And yes, it is an addiction. It's become an addiction. These kids can't function without it. I'm not against teaching a computer class. We need it. Like you were saying, in the society that we live, we need it. We use it every day at work. Okay. What I am against is making our kids an addict to anything, whether it's the computer, whether it's the food, whether it's the candy, whether it's to alcohol,
Right.
whatever. And any sort of addiction, it's not good. And then, you know, add insult to injury. We are in debt. Okay. If they do not raise those taxes, I would dare say that we will be bankrupt. which I believe let them go bankrupt, because at that point, nobody will continue to give them the credit, because they're living on credit, to give them credit. Let them go bankrupt. Let their bills become due every month like you and I, okay? But now you're talking about, I think it was, if I heard the number correctly, Brandi, I think it was 1.2 million is what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, something like that.
so you're breaking our backs on taxes, okay? Because you don't know how to balance a budget, because you don't know that 1 + 1 is 2, and you're spending pigs, spending hogs, spending, and now you're ready to spend 1.2 million on Apple iPad. And then the other issue I have with it is it being Apple. Because we
Right.
very well know, okay, that Apple, they make their own chargers, they make their own pieces, accessories. So if, let's say, your charger, I don't know, blew up, got stolen, whatever the case may be, and you need a replacement of that charger, you can only buy it at Apple. Unlike, let's say,
Right.
a Chromebook, an Android, whatever, that you can go out, to Walmart and
Right.
pick up, a replacement. So then they were saying, well, the Chromebooks last for 4 years, which is about right. Okay. And the Apple lasts for 6. So you're gonna hit me with a $1.1 million because you want a piece of equipment that's gonna last for 6. Einstein. So that's the issue I have with it. And also, okay, that yes, it does harm our kids. Okay, the
Right.
screen time, emotionally, mentally, okay, their eyes, okay, are shot. There's hundreds of studies. I was reading studies today that actually supports what Mrs. Brent says. So
Yeah.
for this dude Stoltz to come out and say, oh, it's suppositions. Oh, because you know it all. Well, in this case, yeah, she knows more than you, dude. In this case, she does. And
He
it's
was
not
out of
suppositions
line.
because the studies. He was way out of line.
He was
And
out
you're
of
talking
line.
to a lady that's married to an eye doctor.
Hmm.
Or an eye surgeon, I believe he is. If you're a surgeon, not a doctor,
Right.
I'm sorry. You work with the eyes. But anyway, so she knows what she's talking about. Okay, and just the disrespect, and he wanted to go for a tit for tat. So you're hitting us with another $1.2 million that we can't afford. Think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else. I can count. Okay, I can count. So you're hitting us with money that we can't afford. So now you want 1.2 million to buy iPads, and you're sticking us with this incredible, horrendous tax bill.
I'm figuring something out. Hold on a second.
Okay, and we'll
Figure out how
also.
many tacos we could get at $200,000. I want the answer to that
Hold
question.
on.
Okay.
Okay, guys, but don't forget, we're also spending all this money, and what we're producing is worse. Okay, so that's another thing I want you guys to think about too, is why are we giving raises and all this stuff when the kids are failing? We can't blame COVID anymore. Okay, because we went back and checked. Remember, Mariana, we were actually doing bad before COVID.
Yes, we were already in the red.
That's not, you cannot believe this myth COVID did everything. That is not
Right.
true.
COVID
So
was their savior in the sense of that $17 million.
Yeah.
so I took the 1.1 million and I figured out that it's 2,190 days for the 6 years.
Okay.
And that comes out to 502.28 per iPad, I guess, per day.
Per day.
Oh, yeah. And I know they're not using YouTube all the time, are they, guys?
Yes, they are.
Because even my kids tell me that when they have downtime, instead of studying, okay, like they would do to a study hall, study a book, or catch up on your work, a lot of these teachers will tell them, oh, go ahead, see, put YouTube, just keep the volume down. I mean, do whatever you want in this last 15, 20 minutes. And they're saying YouTube and they're saying videos.
I have the advantage because when there is a virtual day, I have at any given time 3 to 4 students here doing their work on a device.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what's going on with that device?
So the last little girl that I had, she is now in 1st grade. So last year and this year, when they have certain things to do with like reading, they connect a YouTube video to it for them to watch and then
Really?
answer questions
Okay.
or whatnot. Caden doesn't. I mean, they really don't give him virtual day work, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to
Brandi,
complain about that one.
I do have to get with you and Mariana, working on some stuff with special needs. We'll talk about that a little later, but just some stuff that's going on with the classroom and the lack of. So I think it would be a good thing for us to talk about eventually.
Yeah, even with Carolyn, there's constantly stuff on YouTube.
Right. Right.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
No,
mean,
there is, and you're absolutely correct.
and it's
Yeah,
not
I
like
mean-
they're doing their own thing on it. This is what they're assigned to do.
Right. Right. I mean, you can't
Mm-hmm.
You can't
Mhm.
for $1 million get me to believe that they can control that when they can't control incidents in the bathroom, people
Right.
passing out, sleeping, so-called taking naps or whatever. Like, we know what an incident is.
Yeah, taking naps, all right.
Yeah, because at,
Yeah.
My house, I don't walk by and usually see somebody sleeping on the bathroom floor.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these incidents are drug related. They don't want to say it, but I'll
Right.
say it. It's drug related. Okay, but yet we have 4 assistant principals in Cedar Cliff, and we're having these little incidents, and they can't control violence, they can't control the drugs, they can't control the bullying. So what exactly are we paying them for? Then we have resource officers and we have security guards. Okay, so the difference is that the resource officer can contact the police and all that other stuff. He's a little bit more talk to law enforcement, and then you got the security officer. But then again, a lot of these parents that had the children that been bullied, when the resource officer comes in, the resource officer is trying to, like I say, twist the arm of the kid to say that the kid's guilty because they don't want to do all these reports. So let's get rid of the resource officers. I'm not saying that they're all bad, mind you. There may be a couple good ones there too. But I believe let's cut down on the resource officers and keep the security guard. The security guard can pick up the phone. I think they understand the number 911 because they probably weren't educated in the West Shore. I mean, let's keep it real, okay? Our kids are not being educated, and as we stated
They're
before,
not.
we've seen the scores. We've seen the scores, and they still know a lot of pronouns, and they are indoctrinated. We see it when they come to the school board to talk to the school board and talk down to the school board.
Yeah, what is
And
a woman? What is a woman?
Well, I want to tell you one thing. Abigail Tierney don't know. I guess she doesn't take a shower often, does she?
But hey, listen, you listen to those experts.
What
Right.
experts?
The experts that will tell you if you should put a mask, get a vaccine, if you should be transgender. You listen to those experts. You listen to those experts to tell you what bathroom you and your children can go in. You listen to them.
Well, my child's going to go to the bathroom that I say he goes because I'm the expert. How about that?
Oh,
And if they don't
that will
like it, well, I'll
make
be at the
somebody-
door
that will
securing,
make somebody
making
start
sure.
shaking in their seat real good.
Exactly. So no, that and and the outright disrespect that they've been showing. What also bothered me, guys, was this. As I'm seeing this and I'm seeing her getting disrespected, not one board member raised their voice in her defense.
Right.
Right.
I would have ripped him to shreds and reminded him that I am his boss, and I would have told him to step down. And if he didn't, I would have had his taco eating behind escorted out that door. And when you can act like a decent human being, you're welcome to come in.
Yeah,
I would
That's what needs to
love to
happen.
know the discussion that happened after that last public comment about Brenda.
Oh, man.
Oh my, that was so inappropriate.
Yeah, what? Yeah, who does that? Let's use. How about we use the clown? Okay.
Mm.
Who does that clown, think that they are?
I
My
mean, Brenda's
question
not
is-
the one doing the exams.
Well,
I mean-
my question about the clown is the clown is always reading from her cell phone. So my question is,
Ding, 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 ding,
who's
ding, ding, ding,
texting
ding.
her what to say?
You know who it is.
Oh, of course
The
I know who it is.
person-
Jezebel.
The person that doesn't know what a woman is.
Jezebel.
Yes, and it's literally to get rid of the majority.
Correct. Now, with that being stated, we have Marvin Bayshore, I think it was, speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going after the paperwork and the documents for the deposition. And I'm
Yeah.
for it. Listen, I believe that we're all entitled to that paperwork or the deposition to find out what's going on, because I think that when Marvin Bayshore, if he gets that paperwork, and maybe this is why they don't want to give it to him, and he sits down and he has a little cup of coffee, hopefully he doesn't choke on his coffee, because I think that what he's going to find in that deposition is going to really, really, really be an eye opener, and maybe he would think twice before he comes to the school board to make a fool of himself. I'm not going to say what I really want to say. Okay, a fool of himself, and to stop talking where he really doesn't know, and realize that he's been gaslit all this time.
Right.
And I know
That's what
why
I
I'm
said.
saying it.
I mean, I commented, I said he might not like what he finds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, because this
mad.
has been a concerted effort to, to try to shut down this majority by the minority, specifically Jezebel.
Yes.
So, I mean, let's keep it real. But I am for that, if he is requesting the documents, it should be given to him, because it's the right of all taxpayers. Because consider that they already spend, okay, this what I'm calling, what is his name? Sam Elliott? John Elliott? What's his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So I'm calling this the Elliott lawsuit, okay? The one that looks like Stephen King. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, they already cost the school district $100,000 just on the insurance. So anything now that if they go to court, which I hear they may be going to court now, okay, because well, I'll leave it there. They may be going to court. That's going to cost the taxpayer more money. So if we have to pay, okay, for them to defend themselves and be able to prove that they're innocent, then we have the right to those documents. And he should continue to push for it. And
and they were up in arms about my 40 grand.
About your what? Your 40. Oh yeah, and that was nothing really in comparison. You come after everything they put you through. Oh my goodness, Brandi, did you see that HMH Science? HMH is the publishing house that does the social emotional learning stuff. And now, so they're putting social emotional learning in science. So what is it now? You got to be kind to a plant.
Dude, we need to get into that curriculum.
I have the entire 6th grade curriculum for language arts.
Now we need the science
one. Yeah, you guys can.
Yeah.
Okay, we need the science one.
She swears if she doesn't do it, she doesn't have time. And it's not being done in language arts either.
Yeah, I think I got a bridge to sell you. I don't believe it.
I mean, I've looked through the books and I haven't seen anything. It's all the extra stuff that the teachers have access to. That.
Oh, that's fishy.
So yeah, parents, if you saw that in the agenda, the HMH for science, that is another version of social emotional learning. And if you're concerned about your children being exposed to social emotional learning, I suggest that you get that curriculum and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And if you don't want your child to participate in it, let your voice be heard. Let your voice be heard, because these people still have not learned their lesson. Okay.
Yeah.
And like she stated also, financially it cost them $40,000 and they still haven't learned. Or it cost us $40,000. Okay. And which I don't have a problem with, because you're in your right to protect your baby, because I would. I would.
I mean, I'm a taxpayer. I help pay for it.
Exactly. And that's what I mean, exactly. And they're crying over what, over what? Because you're protecting your child. You have your right. That's our inherent right as parents, okay, to protect our children. Okay. And if I want my child to become a good citizen, trust me, I have no problem teaching my child how to become a good citizen. Okay. That's not the place of the school. If I want my child to be kind, that's my job, not the school. So they're overstepping, and they still continue to overstep. And listen, social emotional learning has done nothing for our children, and it has done nothing for Todd Stoltz. We saw that in this past meeting. Okay.
He will use the excuse though. Well, we don't have that in the high school.
We don't have it on the board either. No, in the administration. Obviously.
Right.
Obviously. Okay, they need a social emotional learning retreat. Okay, that's what they need. Okay, Mariana, stay focused. Okay. So let's talk about, did you guys read the sex-based distinction in athletics policy? Have you read it yet?
I did not.
I didn't read
the updated one.
Well, I have the updated one. Do you guys want me to read it?
Yeah,
sure.
Please.
Okay, so Now this is adopted. This is going into sunshine. It's going to be voted on hopefully in May. We were ready for it to be voted on this month. And of course, they had to tweak the language. And the language I could see was tweaked. Okay. Purpose. The district is committed to serving all students without regard to sex. The district recognizes that a student's sex is irrelevant for the majority of educational decisions and will therefore never be the basis of differential treatment. This policy outlines one of the few situations where sex is relevant and justifies differential treatment. Separate athletics team on the basis of sex preserves fairness, provided increased opportunity for girls, and are safer. As such, the district provides separate interscholastic athletic teams on the basis of sex. Feel free to stop me anytime, okay? Authority. The district may operate and sponsor separate teams for members of each sex. Definitions. Now, this they change. Sex is defined as the biological distinction between male and female based on reproductive biology and genetic makeup. If the superintendent deems necessary for purposes of implementation, the
Why
superintendent
him?
may request from the student's parents or guardians the student's original certificate of birth. Or if unavailable, the student's parents or guardian shall provide a physician's note based on the definition herein. Now,
Here's my question, because
mhm,
you can get copies of your birth certificate. You can change your birth certificate.
but you can't change what's between your legs. That's why they put
Correct.
genetic and reproductive. Okay, so in that situation, then they're gonna, and I like that they said a physician and not a medical, what is it, practitioner? What is it that they
Right.
said?
Nurse
Okay, the last time,
practitioner.
right? Because it's specific that it has to be a physician, and it gets a little bit more specific as we read guidelines. It is the policy of this district that athletic teams and sports shall not be segregated on the basis of irrelevant classifications such as race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. The superintendent or designee shall ensure that similar athletic programs are offered to both sexes in proportion to the district's enrollment, and shall ensure performance of the legal requirement to annually submit information to the state regarding interscholastic athletic opportunity and treatment for male and female secondary students for the preceding school year. Interscholastic or intramural athletic teams and sports that are sponsored by the district shall be expressly designated as one of the following based on sex: male, men, or boys, collectively male; female, women, or girls, collectively females; or co-ed or mix. Now, co-ed or mix does not mean transgender.
Right.
Co-ed or mix means intersex, or the word that they don't like, hermaphrodites. Okay, that's what that means. And again, when you're in that situation, it doesn't mean that you're both genders. Absolutely not. You are one or the other, but genetic testing has to take place to determine which of the two you really are. So they can find out. Okay. And for the people offended by the word hermaphrodite, hermaphrodite is a medical term, and you can find it on the ICD 9 and ICD 10 codes that the doctors use. Okay. So it is an active code. And the only reason they changed intersex was because our pink hair freak friends were getting offended with the word hermaphrodite. Let's move on. I'm trying to be nice. Okay. Athletic athletic teams or sports designated for females shall not be open to students of the male sex. And athletic teams or sport designated for males shall not be open to students of the female sex. Reasonable accommodations. The school will provide reasonable accommodation for females to try out for teams designated for males, including but not limited to when there is no girls' teams for that sport during the school year. Number two, the district will provide reasonable accommodation for male students who have not begun male puberty to play during the season on teams designated for females. So basically, that's more, I would say, like elementary school level kids that they're usually as strong. Okay, students seeking an accommodation under this section shall provide a doctor's note to the principal or athletic director certifying the student has not started male puberty. The doctor providing such a note shall not be related to the student. That's important.
Maybe they can go to
Okay.
Dr. Cox according to the clown.
I think not. Okay. In addition, if the overall athletic programs offered by the district for males would, for some reason, be fewer than those available to females, the principal or athletic director may allow a reasonable accommodation for a male student to try out for a female team if all of the following are met. Number one, the school does not sponsor a boys' team in that sport, and the principal or the athletic director determines that the overall boys' athletic program at the student school provides significantly fewer opportunity for boys to participate than for girls. The boy would not displace any girl from the team roster. The boy would likely not, due to his physical size, athletic ability, and or other characteristic, pose an increased risk of harm to opponents beyond that which would be posed by an average size or skilled participating girl. And the boy would not provide his team with a significant competitive advantage. As applicable herein, a significant competitive advantage means that the boy's participation would likely cause the team to be noticeably more competitive than it would without the boy's participation on the team. Number 3, in considering whether to permit participation with regard to factors C and D above, the principal or athletic director shall be guided by the following. A, where there is a question as to the risk posed to opponents or to a possible significant competitive advantage to the principal or athletics team or athletic director team, such questions should be resolved in favor of the health and safety of opponents and in favor of preventing a significant competitive advantage. B, due to the increased risk of injury to opponents in direct contact sports such as field hockey, lacrosse, football, soccer, and volleyball, particularly scrutiny should be applied by the principal or athletic director to requests in these sports. C, due to competitive realities, the scrutiny shall be heightened even further when the team in question is a varsity team. And now we're almost done. F, nothing in this policy shall be construed to restrict the eligibility of any student to participate in any athletic team or sports designated as co-ed or mixed. Restrict the district from designating intramural teams or sports as co-ed when the district offers intramural sports. Restrict the district from maintaining co-ed gym classes, or restrict the district's existing practice permitting student managers, regardless of their sex, to assist any team based on criteria to be set by the principal or athletic director in administrative regulation. Environment of respect. Students and adults are expected to be respectful and welcoming of all students, regardless of their gender, identity, or any other class, and violations are subject to discipline under existing policies, including but not limited to the harassment, hazing, and bullying policy. That's the end. Thoughts?
That was the best one I've heard.
Right.
I think so.
I thought it was solid.
And they're still fighting it.
Of course. Of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is why they don't want Brenda to be able to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brenda is going to be able to vote because if we have to create a ruckus, we will. Okay?
Right.
Because there's no reason why Mrs. Cox should not be able to vote. Just because her husband does, physicals. Well, all doctors do physicals. That's ridiculous.
Well, and not only that, but, they want this Redland stuff to go through. Well, he's a major part of all that.
Yes, he is a major part of all that. Okay? But that
you
does
can't
not
have it both
exclude her.
ways.
Well, if that's the issue, then let's be for real. So brace yourself, Effie. if we are going to say that about Brenda Cox, then Mrs. Kelly Geiswhite should not be an assistant principal because her husband is on the board and her husband sides with the LGBTQ, and she was the one bringing the LGBTQ books into the West Shore School District. So if we're going to use that, then Kelly Geiswhite needs to resign today as assistant principal, which actually would be a blessing. But anyway, she needs to resign today because her husband's on the school board. Okay.
Wait, you forgot one thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't she the club leader of the LGBTQ?
Yes.
Correct. Exactly. So if we're gonna use that, condition, then I want Kelly Geiswhite's resignation on Kelly Brent's desk, tomorrow morning at 8:00. Leave your key, leave your badge, get into your car, and go read your LGBTQ books at home, and leave our kids alone.
Yeah,
right. Because if we're gonna, that's the standard of measurement or the ruler of measurement. Then you know what? What's fair for one is fair for the other. She needs to resign.
Yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to go in and tell people they need to resign.
Exactly. We need to go in with the sheriff and make them resign because it's a conflict of interest.
Yep.
I mean, we're just keeping this real, folks. We're keeping this real.
That's right.
They can't have it both ways. You can't have her vote for something that everyone wants, but not vote for something that not everyone is happy with.
That's right.
Correct. And the majority of the parents of the West Shore, they want this policy. I mean, listen.
Yes,
let's talk about Ryan Argott. Okay. You guys know that we have a lot of parents that signed, the form that they want this policy in place. So because they changed the date of the meeting, and a lot of us, we go to church. This is why we have 2 P's for a brain. We go to church. Okay, so we decided to attend the services. So Sandra, graciously, Sandra Gonzalez took these forms in for us. Okay, not only are the ones on the taxes, that I made it my business to even email, but the one on the sports. Okay, none of that was mentioned. When Ryan Argott, started reading the email about Argott, Ryan forgot. When Ryan forgot, started doing the public communications through email, he said that Mrs. Reed sent an email in favor of the tax hike along with attachments. No, attachments mean anything. Attachment can mean a map. Attachment can be a picture, whatever the case may be. No, I sent the email with the signature of all the parents opposing the tax hikes, and the parents for, the policy. So that there also, let's look at Ryan forgot. We need to cut administratively. So if he can't do his job because he keeps forgetting, and he can't be fair, to the conservative parents, and he's only fair to the people that share his view, then we need to make sure that the parents forget Ryan, and take Ryan forgot out the door, and we save money on his salary, and we save money on his benefits, and let's get somebody who will actually do the job for less. Wow, how much money did I save there? Like what, 130, 140,000?
Yeah, I think it's what he made.
I was
baffled. Get somebody new.
I was baffled when they brought up the transportation contract. That
$1 million.
We're not losing any drivers, but we haven't gained any either. So what is that going to solve?
And we're paying more. When I know that people say, well, $1 million is really not that much because we got to look at all the routes and all this. Listen, I'm from a big city. I can understand $1 million or more in New York, but in Cumberland County, can somebody help me?
The question is, are we going to be able, with paying $1 million? This is a serious question, guys. Are we going to actually be able to pick the kids up for school and drop them back off at their houses at a reasonable time?
No, because we don't have more drivers to cover the routes.
Okay, I have an answer for that. We can. Not them. So get ready for another mess.
They don't have, they said it last night.
And who was in charge of that this year?
Brian Geiswhite, Adam Trung, and who else?
Was it the guy that was fixing the pool?
Oh, the one that said that told us the pool was fixed because they had I forgot the name of the company come in. I did a right to know the company, and the company never had a contract.
McClure does all.
McClure, that's right. He
McClure
told
does
us.
all their work.
He told me.
Well, why is that?
We did a right to know. For God denies them all.
Yeah, he denies them all because he
Well,
keeps
isn't
forgetting.
somebody's husband getting a kickback?
That exactly. There you go. There you go. You mean Jezebel, right? Yeah. I heard about that. You see, and the funny thing is that these people think that we're ignorant of all this. We're really
No.
not. We're on to
No.
them. We're on to them. Okay. The good thing now, listen. I heard
And I don't
that
eat those
Jezebel is
cookies
retiring.
Me
Right?
either.
Who?
I heard Jezebel's retiring. Jezebel. So we have to have an online party. Okay.
Yeah, but
We're gonna have
her
hats
little
and dibs.
sister's coming up.
Yes, we're gonna have to have a party. But getting back to transportation, guys, make sure you have extra gas in the beginning of the school year. Okay, because your kids are gonna be running after the bus stop because they're not gonna know where to stop, or they're not gonna show up.
Aren't they running a committee to make sure that this is working good?
That would be Geiswhite's committee.
Okay.
Well, he's also the one that got us into this 10-year tax hike. If that, I mean, look how that's working. So you expect the school buses to actually show up. I mean, I would be so impressed if it does show up.
Well, maybe
they're here patting each
the
other back.
district won't try to do the routes themselves.
Yeah, maybe they will use the software that the bus company gave them. But then they put Tweedledum in charge of it, which was Sanders, and he made a mess of it because he knew better. He wasn't going to use the software that the bus company gave him. No, he was going to use AI. Okay, but AI, of course, AI is still young. AI made a lot of mistakes, and yeah. I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but yeah. So if we. You know what I want to say, Kristi. But if we assign somebody with 2 P's for a brain, then maybe we can get this done. And I'm sorry, it's not Geiswhite. I know people think he has potential. He doesn't. It's not Geiswhite because Geiswhite,
he can't show up for meetings.
Well, he's very busy.
He doesn't know how to use a mic. Did you notice that last night again?
And
none of them.
Yeah, because
none of them.
They're speaking to their co-workers. They're speaking to their colleagues. No, you're speaking to the parents. Oh, and did you guys take notice about public comment? They added that at the end when you make your comment, the parent make the comment, that Stoltz can make a comment at the end if he wants to.
When did they announce that?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they're still furthering silencing the parent, because let me tell you something. If that fire-breathing, taco-eating dragon ever says something to me after I speak, I am gonna get up in my preacher's voice, because my papa was a preacher, and I'm gonna tell they're gonna hear me in New York City, because I'm gonna say what I need to say, whether they like it or not. Let
me ask you a question. So why is Stoltz allowed to come at us?
Exactly.
They don't have the stones to do it, so they're going to send Stoltz?
And the thing is, they don't get it. We don't like Stoltz. So you honestly think that we're going to stay quiet?
No, but the thing is that they don't want to do it, so they're sending Stoltz.
Right.
Okay, then we're going to shut Stoltz up. That's just what it comes down to.
And you know what? I actually honestly think that first of all, I think the whole thing is unconstitutional. Like, we have our freedom of speech. Okay. So, and this is a public meeting. This is our meeting. So I think it is ridiculous that they're even trying to do this. Okay. But secondly, I think that they're making it worse by putting Stoltz up against us. Like, they should be able to work with us because we elect them and talk. If that's the case, we should be able to talk back and forth to them.
But you know whose brain fart idea this was, right? In February, whose brain fart?
Yeah.
He said that the parents cannot have the last word because they're upset. Okay, these libtards are upset that we're bringing the truth out. We're fighting back, and it's on public record, and they're looking like the liars and gaslighters that they are. So in his words, and that was in February, he stated in one of the board meetings that the parents cannot have the last word. Okay, this is why they were fighting for one of them to have the last word. And I'm going to tell you something. Again, I'm gonna make Stokes cry.
Right. Well, and that is totally true because I do remember when I was talking about the CRT and the social
Mm-hmm.
emotional learning, and he got up and he's like, "We don't have CRT, blah blah blah, all this stuff." And I went, Sandra and I went, racing up to him and stuff, and I was like, I do realize we don't have CRT because we're not college, okay? But we have something far worse. We have social emotional learning, and that is the last indoctrination system that they put in with the DEI, the CRT, the DEI. It's all Marxism. It's all anti-God. And the SEL is the final thing that they implemented that we
Yep.
had to buy in to get the government money. So, he doesn't understand. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, I get it. Like, we're not a college, but we do have the same crap coming into our school.
Right.
Like, I don't care what you say. But see, he had to put his last thing, and then as soon as I started talking to him, they cut it.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But
You're
I'm with
absolutely
you,
right.
Mariana. If you don't say something back to me, I'm gonna fire right back because
And I
what are
don't
they
care.
gonna
And
do?
they're not gonna shut me down. They're not gonna shut me
No.
down. They might escort me out. That's fine. I'm good with that. I'm good
Well,
with
they
that. I
can't
like I
even
like the I like
escort
the
you
guards.
out. They can't
I
even
like those
escort
guards.
you out. Yeah,
Hmm.
but the
I can
policy,
say what I need to say.
and that's fine too because guess what? We'll get schooled in that real fast too because guess what? Policy isn't law. So what are you actually doing? You're responding back to his response. That's not. You're not breaking the law. It's a public meeting. So show me in your policy where I'm not following it, please. It's
Correct.
as
And my
Right.
simple as
thing is, how long is this going to continue? How long are we going to have to be exposed to Stoltz and his ineffectiveness and his bullying? Because now he's gone. Look at the way that he spoke to Kelly. Right?
that
If
was
that's the way
ridiculous.
he speaks to his employer, imagine the way he speaks to the parents and the children.
No,
That,
Kelly.
that's indicative.
Well, and I
That's
think
indicative.
yes, I think that like Brandi said, he showed his true colors because Kelly is taking a stand and asking these questions, and these are red. This is the red button questions that Kelly's asking because
Right.
that's what has to happen. Like some of these people have to be removed, and Stoltz knows that his contract is one of these contracts that even if the school's failing or people aren't getting raises, he still gets the raises and he still gets all that stuff. Okay, so he's under fire with that, but that's really upsetting him that Kelly's asking these questions, and he and in front of the public, he is scolding Kelly, putting her back in her place. So now Kelly has to stand up, and the school board members around her have to stand up and be like, no, so your place. We run this board. That
Right.
you weren't elected to run this board, and that's what we have to see take place here.
Yeah. They need to write him up. Honestly, if they let him get away with this, I don't know what to tell you
I
because it's
would
not hasn't been the first time. They need to write his behind up.
Right.
They really
let
do.
him try
You
to
know.
do. Let
Now I
him
have
try to do that to Sandra. Watch what will happen.
that'll be fun. That'll be fun
Yeah,
to see.
he
Definitely,
wouldn't
that
do
would be
it.
fun to see. No, he wouldn't. I think they all would think twice because Sandra's not going to take it.
Mm-mm,
She's
Right.
not going to take it. Now I
mm-mm.
have a question for you, ladies. Can you ladies answer a question for me? Because I've been looking all day on the internet and I've been unable to find it. Um, at what point was Donald Trump's executive order of no men and women's sports ruled unconstitutional?
It wasn't.
You see that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
Correct.
he
But
doesn't
you heard
abide by
Abigail.
executive orders. Remember, they're
Oh
not
yeah,
law.
well until and they need to doge his behind out that door. They need to doge his behind out that door. Him and Jezebel, Abigail Trini. Because you heard Trini also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one that put out there that it was ruled it has not been ruled unconstitutional. And what she's been standing on all this time, the PHRC, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, is saying, well, that was tossed out this week. Their definition of transgenderism and gender identity has been found unconstitutional. That happened
Right.
this week.
Right.
Okay, so for her to say and stand and gaslight the community, because some of these people don't have two peas for a brain, and tell these people, yeah, it's been found unconstitutional. Somebody needs to shut her trap up. And I know I'm
Right.
being aggressive, and it's just because I'm fed up of the mess, and I'm fed
Right.
up that the school board is sitting there and allowing these people, okay, to talk out of their butt cheeks.
It's tiring. We've been talking about this crap for months and months and months and months. We're not getting anything that, like, you guys, Mariana and I talk about this all the time. Brandi, you the same thing. Look at all the violence going on, the school shootings, okay? And
Mhm.
we're sitting here battling which freaking bathroom we should go in. We should be investing our time in getting metal detectors because
Right.
it's not if, it's when it's
Right.
coming. And I'm so tired of having this fight about this. I'm with Mariana, the transgenders, the bathrooms and stuff, because all it is a distraction of what's really going on in
Right.
this world.
Yep.
Go to the freaking bathroom that God designed you to be in, okay? Like, you're not playing this game. And I understand it's hard to take a stand, but if you don't take a stand, like Mariana's saying, you're going to keep playing these freaking games. Like,
Right.
no is no. Like, that's it.
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct.
Yep.
No is no. Okay, and they are not understanding that, and this gaslighting of the community is not good. And look, it's like Abigail also said last night again, and I think Brian Geisweiss said it also by what I was able to see. What's the rush in passing the policy? What you mean, what's the rush? We've been waiting since January.
Kelly handled that perfectly. She's like, we're not rushing. This has been since January.
Right.
It has been.
Yeah.
It
Kelly and
hasn't.
Heidi did a really good job too. Heidi said a couple things that was good too.
Yeah.
And kudos to Heidi also, because Heidi has shown us as of late her warrior side. She's not
Right.
having it, and she's been a woman of integrity. She has been standing by her values, come what may. No is no. I'm not accepting it. I don't accept it. She don't care. She's the only
Right.
one that has to say no on that board. No
Dude,
and no.
Heidi's
She's
a
not
hard
dancing with the
no
devil.
vote.
Yeah, so she's been very impressive lately, and
Mhm.
kudos to her. Absolutely kudos to her. Okay, ladies, is there anything else that you guys want to share?
No.
Okay,
I'm trying to
Kristi?
think. Did we hit? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Did we hit everything? We talked about Mr. B, right?
I think we did. The only thing I haven't shown them is what the West Shore Parents United, did today, and that is that West Shore Parents United has sent a couple of letters of concern to the board. Okay, and the first one was they have expressed their concern on the behavior of Todd Stoltz, the superintendent of the West Shore School District, during the school board meeting on March 17. His demeanor at the meeting, and more concerning, his hostile attitude towards Mrs. Brent, was inappropriate and insubordinate. Okay. During the discussion regarding the impact of laptops and tablets versus textbooks for students, Stoltz commented that she was making baseless suppositions, and his insinuation that she knew it all was disrespectful and unprofessional.
Yes,
And such remarks undermine the collaborative environment that is essential for productive dialogue between board members and school district leadership. Furthermore, his smug attitude towards parental rights throughout the meeting demonstrated a lack of respect for the values and concerns of the community. This is not the first instance in which Mr. Stoltz's behavior has been called into question by members of the community. His actions during the March meeting reflects a troubling pattern of insubordination and disregard for appropriate conduct. It is important to remind Stoltz that he is accountable to the taxpayers who funds his salary, as well as to the school board, who serves as his employer. In light of these issues, we are requesting that the school board takes disciplinary action against those to address this behavior. Even if such action is as minimal as a formal write-up, it is imperative to convey that such conduct will not be tolerated. So that's the first thing that West Shore Parents United are standing up, okay, and stating, this superintendent, this administrator is out of control, and it is time to rein him in. How much longer? Not only does the board, but the parents have to deal with such a behavior. Any comments?
No, I think that is an awesome email, and I just can't believe that he would talk to his bosses like that,
Well, he doesn't consider them his bosses. That's the problem.
I'm
You're
just
right.
joking, guys.
You're right.
I'm just joking.
Brandy's right,
Yeah.
though. Brandi is right, because he's gotten away with it for so long.
Right.
And when Brian Geisweiss was there as an ineffective president, they were more
Ooh.
buddies, okay? And it's like
That's
you didn't
hammer.
know when one started, the other one ended. Okay, so now that he has a boss, he doesn't know what to do with it, and then a woman boss, because I think he looks down at women also. Okay, and I'm putting it out there. Okay, now the other thing, and we'll end with this one, is we also decided to address Mr. Forgot. Okay, and we, the members of the West Shore Parents United, are writing to express our deep concern regarding the actions of Mr. Ryan Argott, aka Forgot, school board secretary, during the recent school board meeting on April 17th. Specifically, we are troubled by his handling of our electronic submission, which we believe undermines the principle of fairness and transparency that should guide the board's operation. Now, I want you guys to say where we're wrong, okay? When electronic submissions are sent to the board and they include the signature of one of our community members, it is customary that Mr. Argott to state the concern and read the names of all signatories. However, when we submit our concerns accompanied by jot forms and the names of community members opposing tax sites and advocating for administrative cut, Mr. Argott misrepresented our submission as being solely from Mariana Reed.
Yes, he did.
This selective acknowledgement is unacceptable and inconsistent with his usual practice. Furthermore, we have observed that when submissions from individuals or groups opposing the board's decision are received, Mr. Argott takes great care to name every signatory. This discrepancy raises serious questions about his impartiality and commitment to representing all voices within our community. It is evident to us that Mr. Argott's actions reflect a bias that cannot be ignored. Due to Holy Week and our ecclesiastical commitments, many of us were unable to attend the meeting in person. We trusted, boy, we make a mistake. We trusted Mr. Forgot to fairly and accurately present our concerns, yet he failed to do so. This behavior his behavior not only disrespects our community, but also silences the voice of the parents who deserve to be heard. And we continue. We submitted signatures from parents in favor of the athletic policy, which Mr. Forgot also failed to mention. The submission further demonstrates his inability to perform his duties effectively and fairly. We respectfully request that you address this matter with Mr. Forgot to ensure that such behavior does not occur again. If he is unable to fulfill his responsibility impartially, we believe it is time to consider appointing someone else to this position. The conservative community within the West Shore deserves the same respect and representation as any other group. Should it become necessary, we are prepared to have representatives, including Mariana and Casey Reed, Kristi Spangler, Sandra Gonzalez, Celeste Jack, Denise Dugan. I'm sure we can count on Brandi to speak on our behalf at future meetings. We will not be silenced, and we will continue to advocate for fairness and transparency in the school district. We believe that he owes us a public apology, as we also believe that Todd Stoltz owes you one too, Mrs. Brent. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is what the parent group has been up to today, okay? And that is sharing our outrage, because it is time that we become vocal, okay? Demanding that they find a resolution or remedy for Todd Stoltz, and helping Mr. Argott remember, because he has a forgetfulness issue. Because anytime it's somebody on the left, because he also represents the left, he is very biased, because those are his beliefs. He will go there. We've been in meetings in which it has dragged on name after name after name after name. But if a conservative parent sends something, he refuses to even acknowledge it. That was uncalled for, and that was unacceptable.
Yeah, that was actually, to me, honestly, I was really surprised when I rewatched that he would be that like out in the open about not doing it. It's like he said attachments, okay, but he didn't even mention that there was like 200 and some people on there, you know.
Right.
And
even if he even gave a number, like there's 200 plus signatures, or you know, whatever it was.
he did that on purpose.
Right.
Yes, he did.
And that's not right. And like, and then, you know, we could easily, if we wanted to waste our time, which, you know, we don't even need to, because everyone knows that we are correct on that matter. We could go back and look at dates, like Mariana's saying, that he individually did, because he's on that side of things to make them look better, did all the emails, like, you know. So now we have to go back in because these people signed this paperwork that Mariana put together.
Right.
And we are going to deliver it on record and say how many people, there's their emails. And, I have gone around in my neighborhood, I talk to people all the time about school board and this hot item about the bathrooms and the sports. Even my neighbors that are Democrats are sick and tired of this crap that they came up and they put, when I was gone the other day, put the 2 papers in my mailbox. They asked me to print out 2 more things because they're not on the same side as us, but they don't want this going on with the kids anymore. They're tired of it. So I don't understand why everybody keeps fighting with this. Well, I mean, I do understand, but I'm just saying, like, this is not, it's not going to go well, especially when people eventually open their mouths and not worried about people calling them a white supremacist or a transphobe. When people get over that and start actually standing up for our children, we're going to knock it all out because nobody wants it. The only people that want it are the people like Freddy Krueger and Circus that are coming in. That's it. Nobody else wants it.
That's correct. That's correct. But you know what, families and parents, if you sign that job form, this isn't done yet
We're
because
bringing it.
come hell or high water, we're bringing it in the next meeting. Okay.
Right.
And we will read it loud and proud because we are going to be your voice. Okay. So if you can't make it to that meeting, we get it, but we're going to keep our promise because obviously we can't trust Ryan Argot. Okay. Because we can't trust Ryan Forgot. Okay. So because we can't trust Ryan Forgot, we're going to help him remember come next school board meeting. And if we have to be there in every school board meeting to make him, remember and help him with his forgetfulness issues and give him therapy, that's what we will do.
Well,
that's what we will do. Okay. Because that
we'll
was
have to do that. And, Mariana, the other thing is, what I was thinking about too is, God does work in crazy ways because that just gives us more time to get out and hit the road and talk to people about it too.
That is correct. Now we're almost concluding. Brandi, you have anything else to say?
No.
Okay.
I think we hit everything.
Thank you. I want to remind everybody that on April 26th at 10 a.m., we have our prayer walk around Redland High School. We are praying for God to bring down the strongholds that's holding the West Shore School District now. And, Cumberland County, especially this area where I live, there's a lot of witchcraft guys. A lot of people that come to our meetings are, full-fledged Satanists, and they have admitted it, okay? People from their temple has come. We have a lot of Wiccans, and it's time for us, in the name of Jesus, to start casting down these strongholds. So, we are actually asking everybody that can join us to join us April 26th at 10 a.m. We will meet at the parking lot and we're just going to walk around, the school, and we're going to pray. Kristi joined us last time and it was a blessing. Now, I also want to remind everybody the elections are around the corner, the primaries for Region 3. Please do not vote this man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not vote for this man. Okay, so Region 3 is trying to quench the fire from the pit of hell. I
thought he wasn't running.
Oh no, he decided to run the moment that he found out that Sandra Gonzalez threw her name in the hat.
Remember, he threw a big fit and he said he wasn't running anymore.
Yes,
he didn't get president.
Exactly. So he's doing it to be facetious, basically. Okay. I mean, he does not believe in parental rights. He does not believe in parental choice.
No.
He and his wife are all for the LGBTQ woke issues. I'm not even, he says that he's a Republican. He's actually a Democrat, but the Democratic Party supports him. He's part of that 10-year. Actually, he's the mastermind of the 10-year tax hike. Okay. He was the brainchild of all this. He's caused lawsuits due to parental rights and religious violations. And he didn't even do that effectively because he lost. So he's had a conservative parents escorted out by the police. He crossed files again. He is not a conservative at all. He has colluded with the left to silence the parents, okay, and go against the board. He falsely accused the board of violating the Sunshine Act violation. His wife used to be the head of the LGBTQ club here, and now she is an assistant principal, and I'm not hearing good stuff about that either. He knew there was pornographic novels in our schools, and he denied it. He supports SEL, DEL. Do I need to continue, people? Do not vote this guy in.
Oh wait, he likes masks too.
Yeah, but not he's not very effective in his math because that's why we are in debt. Okay.
No, math.
Um,
Math.
Math.
Mask, like you wear on
Math.
your face.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, but yeah. Did you see his
Math.
math with the little doggy? Yeah. Okay,
He's a
so
furry.
do not vote this guy in, okay? He's on the wrong side of everything. The person you want to vote for is Sandra Gonzalez. She will be a voice of the parents. She believes in parental choice, parental rights. She believes in fiscal responsibility, which we need. And trust me, I think Stoltz would think twice before he tries to go toe to toe with her. We need somebody with a backbone, and that is Sandra Gonzalez. And for Region 2, we have Kelly Brandt and we have Terry Mickle. Terry Mickle is the female version of this man right here. Okay, just the female version. Just put, give him long hair and call him Terry. If you vote for Terry Mickle, we're gonna be in a bigger pickle. I'm gonna tell you that right now, guys. So do not vote Terry Mickle in because she believes everything this guy here believes. So please don't give yourself any more migraines. Do not vote for this guy. So that being stated, I'm trying to be nice. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Brandi. Thank you.
You're
Kristi.
welcome.
And this is the end of Simply Speaking with Kristi and Mariana. And keep an eye for the Watchdog report because I can come up on midnight and start screaming. So if you're entertained by my screaming, hey, come on. So that being stated, guys, thank you and good night and have a happy Easter. And remember that
Happy
Christ is still on
Chris.
his throne because
Happy
he is
Chris.
risen. Yeah.
Happy
Yeah.
Chris.
Adam Trone said happy Chris to me. Instead of, he said Chris has risen. He said Chris has risen. Instead of Christ has risen.
Oh my
He said
goodness.
Chris has risen. So I'm like, well, Christ has risen, and you need to find him because you're gonna crack the pit of hell right open, dude. But anyway, that's a whole different episode. But Jesus, he is on the throne. He is soon to come. He is risen. Amen. Amen. Jesus is king, whether you want to accept it or not. Thank you, guys. Okay.
And he wants you to get in the right bathroom. Get
exactly. He's on the right, not on the left. Open the Bible. He's on the right, not on the left. But anyway, we're being silly now. But no, happy Easter, guys. I hope the Easter bunny brings you a basket full of nice things. Okay. So God bless you. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh Lord. Okay, this 1, 2.
As I ponder all your wonders, I can see that you live. Every day you see betrayal, yet you choose to forgive. Your love is strong, but not so long.